off because they're definitely battle tested.
They are, and I think it's going to pay off in the second half. And the reason for that is they faced adversity and they've responded appropriately. They have adversity now. They're down 13-0, and who is unquestionably the best team in the state in their division. That being said, guys, they get the football, and they have shown they can move the ball against Marion Local.
Okay, this is the Wayside Halftime Report. We have more coming up after this timeout. The keys for each team in the second half. 13-0, Marion Local in the lead. Bundle up. Yeah, it's cold outside. Get your refreshment inside. We have one more half of football to go. We'll be back after this timeout on Sports Time Ohio. The Mighty Mac going for another state title. Coldwater got another one today. It's fourth, and the total count now up to 29. If Marion Local holds on, it will be at 30. Best conference in the state of Ohio. Dave Chudowski back with you. Hyundai Studios. This is the Wayside Halftime Report. Marion Local up 13-0. Final thoughts here, guys. Ryan Kavanaugh. Trimble holding Marion Local. I mean, Marion Local not close to what it usually averages offensively.
Yeah, throughout the season, 37 points a game. In the playoffs, 46 points a game. They're sitting at 13 right now. If I'm Marion Local, the key to the second half is pick up where you left off. Do exactly what you did to close out that first half. That's Adam Bertkey's arm and Adam Bertkey's legs. Steady diet of Adam Bertkey gets you in the end zone.
I'll tell you what. That 13 points shouldn't be a surprise because Trimble's defense had 8 shutouts on the year, gave up 37 points in the regular season. So their defense is solid. We know that. But the key to this game is going to be the first 5 minutes of the second half. If Trimble can get something going, get points on the board, get momentum going, and prove they can score offensively, we're going to have a ball game in our hands. If not, it could be a long night for them.
And Coach, as we've talked about, this guy's amazing to watch football with, isn't he? His prediction, the way he sees football, he calls halfback passes, they happen, everything, onside kicks, whatever. For Coach Powers, Ryan Kavanaugh, I'm Dave Chudowski. We'll see you post-game as we head back out to Matt Underwood, Frank Stams with the rest of the call, the D7 state title game, 13-0 at halftime. We'll see you after this game goes final.
Marion Local Flyers are state champions for the 7th time in school history. They have won it for the 3rd consecutive year, the first ever Division VII state champion in Ohio.
Another state title for Marion Local. You can make it number 7 now. And speaking of 7, it's the first ever in Division VII. As Marion Local gets the win 33-0 over Trimble. Congrats to Trimble for a great season, but Marion Local, the best in the business in Division VII. Dave Chudowski with you here on the post-game show. We are in the Hyundai Studios in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. The coach, Bill Powers, Ryan Kavanaugh, the final time we meet together, gentlemen, and it was a great 3 days. But, Coach, when you look at this game, it turns out it was just pure domination. Marion Local, the best for a reason.
Yeah, the Marion Local team we expected to show up showed up in the second half, and they really just put it all together and clicked on all cylinders there.
Yeah, I hate to steal a famous line, but they are who we thought they were. And once you got Bertkey and Gutta-Miller going in the second half, and the defense stepped up. I mean, their 5th shutout of the year against a very solid Trimble team. So hats off to Marion Local as they earn their 7th state championship.
And for the 11th time in 13 years, a MAC school has won a state title, Coldwater earlier, and now Marion Local. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but let's get to the second half highlights as it was 13-0 at halftime. And guys, here comes Gutta-Miller again, 11-yard touchdown run, and at this point we're thinking it could be over 19-0.
Yeah, and that, you know what, that came off as, on Coach Powers' point, Trimble had to do something coming out of the half when they received the ball. They threw an interception, and then Gutta-Miller did the rest.
Yeah, and there was multiple interceptions for Trimble. Then here's Adam Bertkey with his 2nd touchdown. That made it 26-0. Bertkey, the real deal, guys.
Yeah, when you're 6'6", and you're playing Division VII, you're unstoppable.
And here comes Gutta-Miller again, a 1-yard touchdown late in the 3rd quarter, and that made it 33-0. And that is our final, and there it is, the championship trophy. Heading back to Maria Stein, Marion Local. Let's take a look at the numbers now. Bertkey 17 of 28, 216 yards and the touchdown. And then he also had the 12 carries for 47 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Gutta-Miller, 9 carries, 44 yards and 2 touchdowns. Basically, if you go back to the pregame show, Ryan, the guys we told you about came through.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's good for both those guys, Gutta-Miller and Bertkey, especially considering the season they've had. They went through, each of them had injuries and missed several weeks. But They came through when the lights shine the brightest.
I'll never forget when I was introduced to the MAC years ago, and I'll tell you, they just keep winning state titles. And now, how about that? Delphos St. John, St. Henry, and Versailles has to look at Marion Local at the top, Coach, because now Marion Local has 7. How about 30 state titles for this conference? Unbelievable, isn't it?
I'll tell you, if you watch that Marion Local team tonight, you saw a lot of sophomores and juniors who contribute tonight, so I think that number could raise pretty easily next year.
And then you look at the defending of the titles. Ryan, I'm telling you, I mean, I played high school football in Ohio, covered it my whole career. I can't think of a year where you had 5 teams go back-to-back, and with Marion Local, it's back-to-back-to-back, Coldwater back-to-back, Clinton Massey back-to-back, SVSM back-to-back, and Moeller back-to-back. That's an unbelievable stat or whatever.
Accomplishment. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to win a state championship, have a bullseye on your back all year long, expectations to get there, and then go ahead and put all that to the side and accomplish it. It's impressive.
Wow. So 5 of the 6 teams that came back, Central Catholic couldn't. They didn't make this point, but the other 5 did. Now let's look at this. State champions overall. St. Ignatius at the top at 11. Then you have Moeller jump to 9 to break that tie, and then Marion Local at 7. So, I mean, that's the best of the best, Coach, on that list.
Tell you what, at this rate, Marion Local is going to move their way up to number 2 or 1 in the near future here, the way they're playing ball lately.
The well is certainly not dry for the Flyers. It's a solid program.
What a great 3 days it was with the back-to-back champions, and it finishes off with Marion Local. But now, we have been talking about it for the last 3 days. It's something that has become very powerful in the Sports Time Ohio studios here in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, the Hyundai Studios, and it is time for the All-Kavanaugh team.
Roll it, boys.
You
start Division I.
Make the All-Kavanaugh
That's a
team.
Zamboni machine. Starting in Division I, Gus Ragland. You know, there were 21 individual and team records set in this game, and Gus Ragland was the star that shined the brightest.
I'll tell you right now, there's a freshman right here, Luke Waddell, who could be another guy in this team in the years to come.
Only a freshman showing up on the All-Kavanaugh team.
He really showed up. I mean, I wondered if he had Glenville Speedy and more than Glenville Speedy.
He sure did. This is your guy, Chud.
Hello, Newman.
Newman Williams, 2 times. Forget about the back-to-back. He's back-to-back All-Kavanaugh team. Shows up in the big games.
He loves state titles, doesn't he? Speaking of state titles, Coach, Bailey Wolf.
That's my boy, Bailey Wolf. Everybody said he's injured, he's not 100%. All he did was come out and score touchdowns in a championship game.
Division V, my guy, Brody Hoying. You know, we don't name people as captains, but I think everybody knows who my captain is. It's Brody Hoying.
Hoying, the captain of the All-Kavanaugh team, huh? This guy, well-deserving.
There's Adam Hassan. I hope to gosh that his stiff arm made the team, too, because that's the best stiff arm we saw all weekend.
Adam Burtke. Saving the best for last. What a quarterback. Did it both running and passing, leading Marion Local to that 3rd consecutive state championship, and here's the rest of the guys.
You look at the quarterback, Connor Krasancic, in a losing effort. He had a phenomenal day. He was what we thought he was.
Isaiah Gentry there at the top, guys. How about that performance by him and just getting open and scoring touchdowns for Moeller today against Mentor?
Yeah, and at the bottom, the entire Kirtland offensive line, led by Ian Cosgrove, Mike Simbel, and Cannon Schroeder, paving the way to 44 points for Kirtland.
I'll tell you what, you see 2 guys there, Ryan Reese from Trotwood and Denver Martin from Cardinal Mooney. They came in 2nd place in the tournament. Their consolation prize, though, is the All-Kavanaugh team.
I got to be honest, I think Ed Doherty deserved to be in the video clip because that guy set a state record, right? And he put on an unbelievable performance. I know it was in a losing cause, but still, Doherty really showed up big time, didn't he?
He was awfully impressive. And every time Mentor needed a big play, especially in their comeback, it was Ed Doherty they went to. And sometimes they gave it to him, and one time threw the touchdown pass, so all over the field.
And you think about Bailey Wolf and Newman Williams doing it last year, and you love to have athletes that really shine in the big moment, and those guys did. So when we look at it, we just showed you all the state champions and the incredible numbers and the feats and things that we saw. Coach, I start with you. As we look at the 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, what stands out the most to you with these 7 state champions?
I'll tell you, the thing that stood out most to me was I love physical football. I love teams that are physical offensively and defensively. And if you saw this weekend, the more physical team, the team that brought it every single play, won the game. And that reassures my heart that this isn't a video game offensive anymore. It's still back to basics.
Coach, old school.
Yeah.
He likes the
Yeah,
old.
baby.
Now, if we could just get some grass to play on, he'd be happy. You know, for me, Chad, it was the programs. We've seen a lot of them in the establishment of programs. Teams like Kirtland, Marion Local, who have built it from the ground up and they're still doing it. The only thing I would suggest is maybe they could share the love a little bit. Let some other teams. I mean, we got Loveland in there for the first time, but let's have some other teams get some trophies.
And that goes into my final point. The back-to-backs, obviously number one, but I also want to say Cincinnati beat Cleveland twice head-to-head. Loveland over Glenville and Moeller over Mentor. So, you know, there's that bragging rights that go with those two cities. I know Columbus, big-time city as well, but we had two head-to-head there with Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cincinnati won both of them. So congrats to Southwest Ohio for those state titles. We have special thanks that we have to get out there right now. Of course, Francois McGillicuddy, Tom Farmer, Pat Kilkenny. We would like to thank all of the production teams in Canton and Massillon over the 7 playoff games. Of course, the great announcers both up in the booth and the sideline reporters as well. And in our studio crews here in Cleveland, Kevin Berger, Derek Dadich, Joe Wozniak, Chris Moore, Dawn, Laura, Dana, masterful job in master control, and of course, Dan Larson. We couldn't do it without Super Dan Larson. And then our crew, of course, Coach Ryan and the producer, Seth Stager and Gene Winters were fabulous. I'm Dave Chudowski. Thank you so much at home for watching. Without you, we would not be able to do it. We brought you 7 state champions. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next year, everybody. Have a great year.